Cam, OU's Heisman, or should I say Theismann hopeful Tate Sandell, has made his last 21 field goal attempts and is 7 for 7 from 50 yards or more on the season. Both of those are Oklahoma program records. The rest of this Sooner squad knows how crucial his play is for this team. Last season, OU's only 2 losses both came to LSU, but we're in Baton Rouge in the SEC Championship. This time, they take on the Tigers right here behind me, and that meet's scheduled to start at 7:45. Oliver, back to you. True freshman running back Torrey Blaylock burst onto the scene after a stellar performance against Temple, and he's only gotten better since then. Blaylock ran for a career-high 101 yards against the stout South Carolina defense, but he says it was just a team effort. For the first time ever in the Women's College World Series, Texas took down Oklahoma 4-2, courtesy of 2 late home runs from Caden Henry and Jolie Mitchell, and gave the Longhorns their first win over the Sooners in the state of Oklahoma since 2014. Westmore, home of the Jaguars, and 2026 OU baseball commit Josiah Kemp, who's the nephew of former MLB star Matt Kemp. So it's safe to say that his love for the game runs in his DNA.
I think it started whenever I was very young. My uncle was playing in the league, and every day or anytime I could go on vacation, I'd go and watch his games, and it brought like a love for the sport, and I think that's why I really played the sport today.
Watching his uncle play not only instilled his love for America's pastime, but also helped shape him into who he is today.
Josiah is very passionate about baseball. He's a leader by example, and he's one of the cooler things about him is, he has a lot of skill, but his humility is pretty cool to see in a guy and a player of his caliber.
The University of Oklahoma hasn't won a national championship in over 30 years, something the Jaguars did just this past season. That's something that Josiah says he wants to carry over with him in his journey to OU.
I think, just carrying the same traits that we did to win the state championship. We did a lot of wisdom talk, and I like that. I can, refer that to Skip. I think a lot of those talks that we had behind closed doors where nobody saw or videos or nothing, I think that really helped us and shaped us to where we got to be a state championship. And I think that can really help with the national championship as well, because the mental side is the biggest part of the game.
Reporting from Westmore High School, Chris Holman, Sooner Sports Pad. Michael, the Sooners have kept their hot streak going after taking down New Mexico State 10-6 last night and have now thrown 48 strikeouts across their first 4 games. For a team that lost their best 3 pitchers of the draft last year, I think it's safe to say they haven't lost a step. Now, another OU team that hasn't lost a step is OU softball, and they had back-to-back doubleheaders on Friday and Saturday, and it's safe to say they steamrolled the competition. In their first 4 games, they outscored their opponents by a combined 48 runs. Then on Sunday, the Sooners took down UTEP by a staggering score of 34-0. Freshman Alyssa Parker had 2 home runs in the game on Sunday after pitching nearly 3 innings the day before, and head coach Patty Gasso loves the versatility that she brings to the team. Well, Michael, something else that's been world-class is over the weekend, OU hit 21 home runs, with 6 coming from that win against UTEP, and 2 of those were grand slams in the same inning. After that game, every position player in OU's lineup has now hit a home run this season. Last Thursday, Oklahoma announced that their 2027 matchup against SMU will be moved to AT&T Stadium. The Sooners are 6-2 all-time at Jerry's World, with 5 of those wins being Big 12 titles, and the 6th, the 2020 Cotton Bowl, where they took down Florida 55-20. Michael, he's not the only person who played well off the bench, as Dayton Forsyth scored 13 points, which is the most he's scored in a game since November 11th. OU grabbed 14 offensive rebounds, which resulted in 19 second-chance points. If they can keep playing like that, they should be able to keep themselves in any game. And one OU team that's kept themselves well above everybody else is OU women's gymnastics, and they flipped on down to Gainesville last Friday for a top 5 matchup against Florida. The Sooners scored their 2nd perfect 10 of the season, with Addison Feda securing the vault title with her first career perfect score, while also securing the all-around title, helping Oklahoma take down the Gators by half a point. Next up for OU is a home meet against 2nd-ranked LSU, and head coach KJ Kindler knows how important the crowd is going to be. Well, Michael, Addison Feda has already certainly made a statement statement for herself, as she's ranked as the top vaulter in the country and second in the all-around. Michael, I'm sticking with golf, but the OU women's team, who were in Sarasota, Florida for the Suncoast Invitational over the weekend, they were led by Gracie Mayo, who tied for 5th, finishing 2 over par, helping the Sooners finish 2nd, only 4 shots behind reigning national champions Northwestern. Next up for OU is the Gator Invitational on March 6th. Michael, I'm going to have to choose the other team on the diamond, OU softball. They've now won 7 games in a row. 6 of them have been run rules, and in 4 of those, they scored over 15 runs. If that isn't good enough, OU beat UTEP 34-0 on Sunday, which ties the largest margin of victory in program history. Darby, I'm going to have to stick with OU softball for this one. Over the weekend, Cassidy Pickering scored 13 runs and had 11 runs batted in. But in the Sooners' win over UTEP, she had 3 doubles, which ties the program record for doubles in a game, and was named SEC Player of the Week for the first time in her career here at OU. I don't know how you missed this one, Michael. You talked about him earlier. It has to be Anthony Kim. After stepping away from competitive golf for over a decade, he just won Live Golf Adelaide, which is his first title since the Houston Open in 2010. And the title isn't the only thing Kim is taking home. He's also taking home $4 million. Darby, one thing I'm looking out for is how many home runs OU softball is going to hit this season. Through 9 games, the Sooners have already racked up 38 home runs, and if they stay on that pace, they will have hit over 230 by the time the regular season comes to a close, which would demolish the NCAA record of 161 the OU set back in 2021. Even though they came home with the win against the Volunteers, the Sooners had 11 penalties for 104 yards. Let that sink in. That's something they have to clean up if they want any chance to take down Alabama. Michael, what do you think from Tuscaloosa? It seems like Oklahoma has finally found their missing piece, the run game. Over their last 2 games, Xavier Robinson has rushed for 224 yards and 3 touchdowns, and head coach Brent Venables knows that he is only going to keep getting better. In their last 2 games, OU's defense has allowed nearly as many passing yards as they did in the first 7 games of the season. Alabama has the 13th best passing offense in the nation, which is something that the Sooners secondary will need to keep in check. Like Oklahoma, Texas is also coming off a bye week and going on the road against the top 5 opponent. They face Georgia, who are coming off a convincing win against Mississippi State, a team that took Texas to overtime. I think the Bulldogs in the Longhorns' playoff hopes in a convincing win. Hallie, Bama's offense might be good, however, OU struggled in the first half against Tennessee, but they seem to find their rhythm in the second half. John Mantier needs to get this offense going early if the Sooners want any chance against the Crimson Tide. OU's defense is good, but they can't afford to have 99 yards of offense in a half. If Oklahoma wants to pull off the upset in Tuscaloosa, they need to see pre-thumb injury Mantier.